Welcome, friends. Almost 6 months back, my brother thought of starting a YouTube channel for piano music. Like many others, we were mesmerized by the beautiful piano videos that not only sounded good but also looked amazing, with LED lights lighting up on piano keystrokes and the particles that would fill up the screen as a note is being played. With no experience in video editing or electronics, my brother and I started to look around for solutions. Some things worked and others didn't. There were options that were too expensive to even try, and others that were more feasible while maintaining the quality of results. In this video, I will cover the steps, software, and gear that we will use to make our videos. There are many options and solutions. What I am covering is what worked best for us. This video may not serve as a complete step-by-step tutorial, but more like a guide. If you need explanation on any of the things I have mentioned, feel free to chat below. My brother is trying to grow this channel to make a good resume for college, and he's working really hard to put out a new song every single week besides his high school studies. It would mean a lot for him to see your support. If this video helps you, please consider subscribing and supporting his work. Let's get started. In order to make our videos, we use 4 different files as inputs. The first one is an overhead video of my brother playing the piano. In this image, you can see that the phone recording him is kept above the piano and high enough to get the full piano keyboard. Also, keeping the phone straight right over the piano helps prevent skewed videos. We also use a green screen on the floor which we can easily key out while editing later. The second input file for us is a MIDI file of my brother's performance. This MIDI file will be used to generate the piano roll, which in the videos is the effect of the notes falling down. There are many ways to create a MIDI file. You can connect your piano to a computer using a DAW like Ableton, which is paid, or Multitrack Studios, which is a free software. Many new pianos like ours have the ability to record MIDI directly on the piano, which can later be transferred to a USB drive. The third input file is the piano roll video, or what you see as the notes fall down with particles. Most bigger channels and musicians used Synthesia and then used plugins like Trapcode Particular, etc. in Adobe After Effects to create these particles and the glittery effects. We found that using this technique was not only very expensive, running into several $1,000s for the software and the server grade machine, but also had a steep learning curve for someone who does not understand video editing. After a lot of searches and trials and errors, we found a software called CMusic, which was not only reasonably priced but also took away the pain of heavy editing and rendering times. It also does not need a fancy server-grade computer. As of this video creation, it costs less than $20, and currently they have a free beta version available for download, but the free beta might go away at any time. Irrespective, a sub $20 software taking away all the pain is well worth the investment. The fourth input file we use is the actual sound of the piano. Initially, we used the DAW to generate this file using the MIDI file that was captured and mentioned as our first input. We were never happy with it though, and the sound quality would often leave you wondering what went wrong. There are VSTs that were recently suggested to my brother by Pico pianists such as Alicia Keys and Ivory, which will give you more control over the sound quality, like the mellowness and the velocity. Check out his channel that I have linked in the description below and pay attention to the wonderful sound quality. In our case, we ended up buying a Zoom H4n interface to capture the audio directly from the piano. The sound is clean and distortion free, and it is easy to use. As of this video, making the Zoom H4n sells for a little over $200 in the US. Let's take a brief look at how I create a piano roll with particles using CMusic. The software is intuitive and you can set many attributes to make the piano roll look per your needs. I will not be talking through this, but you can see how easy it is to create a piano roll with particles using CMusic. At last, we have the 4 files that we need to put our video together. I renamed the video files as top video, which is the piano roll, and the bottom video, which is a video of my brother playing the piano. Now let's get started with the editing. I open up After Effects and start a new composition. For the duration, I do not need to be exact right now. I just gave a number which is bigger than the length of my actual video. We will trim this later to match the exact length. I then dragged and dropped the 3 files which are in the top video, the bottom video, and the audio file in my project. I don't need the MIDI file anymore as I already used it to make the piano roll using the C Music app. Double tapping on the bottom video shows it in the big pane. I then drag the slider to where I want my video to start, and then I click on the opening curly braces. I then drag the slider to where I want the video to end, and then click on the closed curly braces. Once I have this set, I drag and drop the bottom video from the Project Explore window to the composition Comp 1. I then modify the scale and the position values to fill the screen width with the piano as shown. You may want to play around with them a little bit just to get the hang of it. Make sure the piano is absolutely straight. I drag ruler guides to the edge of my piano keys to see if my piano video is in a straight line. I see that my video is straight, but if needed, I transform the video rotation as needed. The next step for me is to key out the green color. This can be tricky as I also use green colored LEDs and don't want to key out the green LEDs. Here's what I do. I highlight the bottom video in Comp 1 and press Ctrl D to make a duplicate copy of it. I then turn off the audio from both the original and the copy of the bottom video, as we will use the separate audio file that we just generated using our Zoom H4n. I also turned off the visibility of the copy we just created, so the green is not keyed out from this copy and just the bottom original video. In the Effects and Presets panel, type Key and you will see a plugin which says Key Light, Key Cleaner, and Advanced Spill Suppressor. Select and then drag drop it over the video. Pick the dropper and click on the green color in the video to create out. To reduce spills, check the box which says Advanced Spill Suppressor. Next, turn on the visibility of the copy of the bottom video and choose the rectangle tool. Draw a rectangle starting from the bottom of the piano keys to the top of the video. After you do this, the green key filter we applied to the original video will not apply to the keys and will not mess, especially if you have used green LEDs. Select both the original and the copy of the bottom video, right-click, and pre-compose them. Select the options as shown in the pop-up dialog. Next, drag and drop the top video in the Comp 1. Using the Transform Position attribute, move the top video a little upwards and make the opacity 50%. This will help you align the keys of the top video and the bottom video. Use the Position and Scale attribute to adjust so that the keys of the top video match the keys on the bottom video. When they do, turn the opacity back to 100%. Next, using the position attribute, align the top of the keys in the top video with your top ruler guide. Ignore the bottom if the keys are shorter or larger, although in my case, they matched both the top and the bottom. But keep in mind, aligning top is important even if bottom is not. Make sure that the top video is highlighted in the Comp 1 and select the rectangle tool. Draw a rectangle from the top of the video to the top ruler guide. Voila! It's like magic. We don't need the ruler guides anymore, so I'm going to move them out. I now need to align the top video and the bottom video such that a key press on the piano corresponds to the right moment in the notes in the piano roll. To do this, I scroll the pointer to where I first hit the key in the song. Then, to be really precise, I go to maximum zoom level so I can check frame by frame the exact point where I hit the first note. It can take a little getting used to finding it, but it's not very difficult. When I see here is the previous frame the key was not pressed, and in the current frame I am just beginning to hit it. Once I have identified where I pressed the first note in the piano, I will now not move the pointer at all. I will align the top video and slide it to match the first note falling to this exact same position. I can again zoom in to do this frame by frame so that this can be very accurate. Make sure the audio is turned off on both the top and the bottom of the video. Next step is to add the audio file to our composition. I can simply drag and drop it to Comp 1. Expand it until you see the waveform. Notice that I have not touched the pointer and it is still at the location of the first key press. Also notice that you will see the audio waveform and you can figure out where the audio starts in your file. Simply drag the audio track such that the starting of the waveform aligns with the pointer location. When you have that roughly aligned, zoom in for exact accuracy. At this point, most of the video is ready to render, but before we do so, I want to add a saber effect. I selected all three sources in the composition and pre-composed them. I named it Playing. I highlight that newly created playing layer and press Ctrl D on the keyboard to duplicate it. Make sure you turn off the audio in the newly created layer. In Effects and Presets, I looked up Saber, and while the new playing layer is selected, drag and drop it on the viewing pane. Then I changed the mode to Add. In the Saber properties, I expanded Customize Core and set the core type to Layer Masks. Making sure that the copied playing layer is highlighted, select the pen tool and choose the starting point at the top left of the keyboard and the ending point at the top right of the keyboard. Then choose from a multitude of presets available with the Saber plugin. You may need to click on the selection tool if the pen tool is still active. Well, that's pretty much it. To end, I save my file and export it using Adobe Media Encoder. I hope this video helped you and will prove to be a good starting point for your own videos. As you start to understand After Effects, you will be able to play around and make your own improvements and changes. If you have any questions, shoot them in the comments below. I love to hear feedback, questions, and comments. Goodbye.